Hello guys, welcome to another video and well, today we've got an interesting one. We'll be testing Noelle R1 Serpent Spine versus an R5 Whiteblind. Now, I didn't really think about making this video, it just sort of came to my mind out of pure curiosity for myself, because I just thought to myself, I have a Whiteblind and I have a Serpent Spine, I wonder how a Serpent Spine would work on Noelle. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will be curious also to see what the difference will be between a Serpent Spine, which is a Battle Pass paid weapon, versus a free-to-play weapon such as the Whiteblind. But keep in mind, the Whiteblind is refinement level 5 and the Serpent Spine is R1, so there could be a massive difference here. Will the Serpent Spine be better than an R5 Whiteblind? Let's just find out. Before we begin, we're going to go over quickly the Noelle stats, and then we're going to conduct a series of tests between world bosses and then the Spiral Abyss and see which one just gives us generally a better performance. And after that, at the end of the video, we'll come to a conclusion and summarize our findings. So, starting with the Whiteblind build, an R5 Whiteblind, what are the final statistics? We've got crit rate of 48.2% and a crit damage of 130%. I did mention before my Noelle stats are pretty poop. You know, I need a lot more crit rate, hopefully like 60 to 70%. But with a Whiteblind weapon, obviously you don't have the crit rate, so it's expected, it's very normal to have about 50% crit rate. Now that puts you at a disadvantage with the Serpent Spine, which will give you crit rate, but it pays off with a lot of defense. So this is the comparison we'll be checking. Will it be better to have more crit rate, or will it be better to have more defense? Now with the Serpent Spine build, we'll just snatch that from Deluxe, we have a total of 75% crit rate and 131 crit damage. Now this test will be interesting because we'll see if having more crit rate is better than having more defense, and obviously having more crit rate means you're going to be more consistent. If you find this video helpful, please remember to leave a like and leave a comment and subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Well, actually this week has been crazy. We've gone from 100 in a few days to 500, and just last night in one day we gained 100, which is madness. So thank you guys for that support. I will continue to I'll continue to upload more and hopefully we get to 1k. Thank you guys. Let's start by looking at the Serpent Spine. It has a base attack of 510% and a crit rate of 27.6%. This is really good with a high base attack, and the provision of a lot of crit rate means a lot of benefit for our Noelle. Now let's take a look at the passive here, because this is the most important thing about the Serpent Spine. Every 4 seconds a character is on the field, they will deal 6% more damage and take 3% more damage. This can stack up to 5 times, but will reduce by 1 stack if the character takes damage. Now this is great for Noelle because Noelle has a shield, which means she won't take damage, meaning she won't lose her stacks, which means this debuff is eliminated, and therefore this weapon is great on her. 6% damage will stack up to 5 times, meaning Noelle will get a bonus of 30% damage once she maximizes all of her stacks, which also is really good because Noelle will be on the field most of the time. Since she's your main DPS, she will be out on the field with her ultimate, which lasts about 15 seconds. You'll be swinging and swinging with Noelle, which means she will gain those stacks automatically, gain more damage, which makes this really ideally a perfect weapon for her. Now, if you go to the Whiteblind, it provides also a high base attack, but a lot of defense instead of crit rate. Now, the passive of this is on hit, normal or charge attacks increases attack and defense by 12% for 6 seconds. This can stack up to 4 times. In total, this means Noelle can get a total of 48% increase in attack and defense. Now, the only problem with this is you have to hit an enemy 4 times in order to get the full stacks, and with most players they don't really know how to use Noelle, so they won't be getting the full stacks. In fact, most players would actually use their ultimate before gaining the stacks. Right, now this brings me to my next point. When you use the Whiteblind, you have to gain the stacks. What I mean by gain the stacks is when you're fighting an enemy, you have to hit them 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then ultimate, and then you do your damage, because then you have the most attack.
Like a flower far away, hold by the road, waiting for the one to find a way back home. Rain falls 1,000 times, no footprints have come and go. You who once your sigh and breath in the last blow of wind. The gift for the story on the last page is not the end. Life blooms like a flower far away, all by the road, waiting for the one to find a way back home. Time flows across the world, there is always a longer way to go till I reach your arms. I'm better there for you. Up against the stream, waterways will join us one, tracing to the source. No more straight, alas, you will see petals fly when love man becomes carol. Could you please hear my voice that hungers for water? Life blooms like a flower far away or by the road, waiting for the one to find a way back home. Time flows across the world, there is always a longer way to go till I reach your arms. I'm better there for you.
よいよい飛んだよ。周知院学園、周知の事実、みんな憧れの生徒会。ポクポクポクポクポクポクと会長と家具屋さん、石上くんと初期の時間、ゴールデンメンバーと思いませんか？初期の地下ラー。乱れた国で生きる私たち、誰もが本音隠してるけど、そんな問題もラブ探偵地下が解決するわ。 IQ3 でも任せなさい。初期設定、うかうかしてたらすぐ卒業。チュキドキドキフォーチュンテラー。いつだって誰だって恋したらヒーローイン。力の限り輝くのだよ。チカッとチカッとチカチカと、ここで曲は間奏に入ったので、名言とか格言とか残してこう後世に語り継がれる名曲になりたいわけなのですが、お弁当終わりの昼下がり、なんかないですか？あ、今すごくいいこと思いついた。デモ2が始まっちゃいますよ。スタートだよ。大好きですから、愛してますから、ラーメンスイッチバリ方オン。グツグツグツグツグツグツグツ、醤油豚骨バリ方薄め。あ、これうまいやつ。完璧。こんにち殺法返し、心に秘める思いあるけど、どんなトラブルもバッチリくっきり解決するわ。そうって何？初期設定、スター
Finally, to conclude the video, I will now summarize the results from the test and decide a final winner. Taking a look back at these clips, it appears that the R1 Serpent Spine provided more consistent hits with damage ranging from 10 to 20k on basically every hit. This consistency is great, because that means your Noelle will be very reliable and consistent with the damage, and it will never have occasions where it fails to DPS. On the other hand, the R5 Whiteblind clearly provided much higher damage numbers ranging from 10 to 40k, but was far more inconsistent in its DPS. The R5 Whiteblind is a situational and occasional weapon, and at times you will completely destroy enemies, but in the other times you will not. Its inconsistency can easily be fixed by having more crit rate on Noelle, at which point the Whiteblind is unstoppable. To summarize the two, the Serpent Spine will provide a higher consistency but less damage, and the Whiteblind will provide higher damage but less consistency. Before we decide which option is better, let's consider the pros and cons. The R1 Serpent Spine is easier to obtain. You can just purchase the battle pass and it's guaranteed that you have this weapon. It's easier to use in the Whiteblind because the Whiteblind requires a little bit of skill in gaining the stacks before you actually use your ultimate. The Serpent Spine will automatically gain the buffs for you as Noelle is on the field, unlike the Whiteblind where you have to hit 4 times to get the maximum stacks. The Serpent Spine is also far more consistent in its DPS, and it also saves investment from farming crit rate artifacts. However, the cons are for this weapon is that it is a pay to win weapon. You do need to purchase the battle pass to get it. Well, Noelle has to be on the field for a very long time, for about 20 seconds to get the full amount of stacks to get the full benefit. And lastly, it requires a 100% shield up time if you don't want to lose those stacks, so you'd probably want to use someone like Zhongli with Noelle. Now for the R5 Whiteblind pros, it is a free to play weapon. It does much more damage than the Serpent Spine. It's really quick to gain the full stacks because all you have to do is just hit an enemy 4 times. And lastly, if it is utilized correctly and Noelle has a high crit rate, it automatically beats R1 Serpent Spine. However, the cons are it's difficult to obtain more prototypes. It has inconsistent damage if you don't have enough crit rate. It's harder to use than the Serpent Spine because you always have to hit an enemy 4 times before you actually use your ult. It requires a manual stacking of buffs, unlike the Serpent Spine, which will automatically get the buffs as you play. And lastly, it requires more investment into Noelle artifacts for that extra crit rate that you're losing out on. In conclusion, I think it's fair to say that the Serpent Spine R1 is the winner of this test. As much as I am surprised, this makes sense because of 2 simple reasons. The first reason is that consistent damage will always be more valuable than inconsistent and random hard-hitting playstyle. It's important to depend on consistent damage rather than RNG occasional cases where your Whiteblind will get a few hard-hitting moments now and then. The Serpent Spine was cleanly hitting between 10 to 20k at every hit, which is an exceptional amount of DPS, in fact more than D-Look and many other DPSs, whereas the Whiteblind was hitting many times under 10k, but occasionally it hit between 20 to 40k. Lastly, one of the biggest things to consider here is that the R1 Serpent Spine is against an R5 Whiteblind. Most people will have only an R1 Whiteblind because of how hard it is to get prototypes, and if this test was using an R1 Whiteblind, then the Serpent Spine would have destroyed it way more. Additionally, an R5 Serpent Spine would also immensely destroy an R5 Whiteblind. Therefore, Serpent Spine is the winner in my book, and as an R5 Whiteblind user, I can only tell you this: use the Whiteblind if you know how to use it and you have at least 60% crit rate. It's still a great weapon and one of the best for Noelle, and I will continue to use it as I'm not robbing D-Lick's Serpent Spine. Keep in mind that countering the Whiteblind's biggest issues are easy. You just need to invest more into crit rate and learn how to use it, and boom, it's a perfect weapon. We're just going to do a co-op little bonus clip here for you guys with Noelle with food, Serpent Spine, domain. The Noblesse Oblige, so it gives like a 75% damage geo boost. So let's just see how hard Noelle is going to carry this domain. We're just going to wait for them to take down the shields, and Noelle's just going to finish the rest of it. We'll let them do their thing and go. 23, 21k, 33k per swing, 34k. Oh, I don't even know where they are. 20k, 22k, 22k, 29k. Where you going? Come here, bro. Come get some Noelle smoke. Fuck off, D-Look. It's mine. Yeah, that bitch is mine. That bitch is mine. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Yeah, Noelle's gonna finish that one. Noelle's gonna finish 23, 21, 25, 33. That's Noelle, 24, 22. That was all Noelle. Let's go. Noelle's such a carry in this domain, guys. Obviously, it's a geo supportive, geo boost, but whatever, you know. Noelle's still the best, okay? Waifu over meta. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Do that stuff. Goodbye. See you in the next video.